Hello, hello. So today going to, I sorry about that. I'm trying to just pull this up in case there's anything going on in the chat. Okay, so today I'm going to work on, I guess it's sort of an art quilt or a crumb, at least part of it will be a crumb quilt, and maybe some of my like wonky rose, log cabin roses, I think they're called. So if you've been following me for a while, you may have seen some of my videos where I was sort of practicing, right? So I think like this was my first one, log cabin rose. And I was just using random scraps of paper, not really of fabric, not really worrying about the colors or the fabric, more trying to get the technique down because I had never done log cabins before. So this is the one where I started realizing I like these thinner better than these thicker. But anyway, and then I did this one, which I still love. I think it's pretty fun. But here's the idea. For my quilting guild, they we have the option to create a birthday month flower quilt to be displayed during the quilt show this year. And so it's too late. I'm not going to actually submit this, but this was the idea that I had at the time. And then I got busy with other projects and I never got to implement my idea. So I started by Rose is my birth month flower. So I started thinking about how would I create roses. So that's what these log cabin wonky roses came from. And then I made a mosaic quilt. It was the second quilt I ever made. I finished it last year. I do have videos on my page. But it turned out that everyone commented how it looked like stained glass. And so then I thought, well, I have a ton of these leftover fabrics from making that quilt. And so I thought, how fun would it be to make a vase out of little scrap pieces of that same fabric to make it look like a mosaic glass vase holding these rose flowers. So anyway, I was very impressed with myself and I thought that was a really good idea. But, you know, I'm a new quilter, so all of these things are new to me. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure it out. But I do know that I'm going to try. And so that's what I'm finally sitting down to do today. So I think I'm going to start by just sort of cutting up pieces of this fabric, of this leftover fabric, and just start sewing them together. And I think at least what I have in my head is I want to make a big enough piece of all of these scraps of fabrics, like crumb quilting, right, where you just sew all these tiny pieces together, a big enough piece of fabric that I could then cut out into the shape of a vase. And then maybe I would crumb the background too in a more neutral color. And then I would somehow work in these roses, and whether or not these exact roses, but maybe I would work in some log cabin roses, or maybe I'll get the hang of this crumb quilting and I can do it with crumbs instead. TBD, but anyway, that's what I'm working on today. So if you're watching, I'd love to hear your advice or your comments, but I'm just going to start playing around and I will try to keep an eye on the chat in case anybody does chime in. Um, but definitely don't know what I'm doing. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to start. I have this, looks like it's left over from when I did the piano keys on my quilt. And obviously these are all different lengths. So I think I'm just going to randomly start cutting them. In my mind, I have a specific vase in mind that I used to own that had almost like, they were more like sharp angles, like cut glass that was sort of mosaic together. And so in my mind, I'm thinking like triangles or diamonds or, you know, not necessarily squares, right? And so, um, So I'm just going to cut the fabric and see how it goes. I'm a little nervous, but I think it'll be okay because really we got nothing to lose at this point, right? So let's see. Let's see how we can make that work. Maybe I already have these two colors connected, so maybe it's enough just to sort of cut them like that. Maybe cut them like that. Definitely don't know what I'm doing. All right, so we're going to leave those two together, and then I'm going to find a different color. I feel like I need to cut a bunch of little pieces or something first. But maybe maybe I'm going too small. Maybe then I sew these two, and this is all, the other thing that's good is this is all batik, so that means that I don't have to worry about right side, you know, which is good. So let's sew this and see how it comes out. Oh, no, that didn't work. All right. I took this sewing machine with me to a quilting the other day, and so it came unthreaded. So I need to rethread this, and then I will be back in business. Dang it. Okay, it goes there, and then it goes. Oh, that's why I'm doing it wrong. Okay, good. Got it. I got it in there, and I got it in there. Do I have it in there? Ah, now I do. Okay. And then I will use the needle threader, which I'm getting better at. I'm finally learning how to use, so yay me. Did that work? Oh, I think it did. So I made a video the other day, and I was talking about, I did a live, and I was talking about using my stiletto. But I realized that when I turned that part of the video into a short that you couldn't really see what I was talking about. So here is the stiletto. And I don't know if that is easy to see, but that's the tool that I'm using. But anyway, this sharp point. And so it helps to sort of guide the fabric in, especially when you're dealing with really small pieces or thick pieces that you're trying to put together. So anyway, I wanted to give you a better look at that because the video the other day didn't have a great shot of that. Okay, here I'm just going to do a quick little practice run to make sure that the needle's threaded and everything's working correctly. So let me do that real quick. All right, so it was a mess at first, but I think it straightened itself out. So let's try it again one more time just to make sure. So if you wonder what I'm worried about, it's this rat's nest there. So I'm going to try that again. Let's try it again, see if we can get it to work. All right, that's better. That's the back. That's the front. So that's definitely better. All right, so now let's see. Where were we? Where's my piece I was going to cut? I've lost it now in all this mess. Well, I've only just begun, so I guess it doesn't matter that much. It's a little weird that I can't find it. So I think I'll just keep going, not worry about it. All right, let's start over. When I find that piece, I'll just add it on. Just doesn't matter that much. All right, so I'm going to take this little weird piece. Here, let's just cut this. Mm-hmm. I can buy myself flowers. Yeah, so the idea is to have it look like little pieces of glass. Little pieces of glass that are connected together. I think it's going to be pretty, I hope. What is that weird little thing? So I've been quilting a little over a year, and so I've learned just a ton of stuff in that time, which has been great. And then so I've been following patterns, right? Because as a new quilter, well, really a lot of quilters always follow patterns, and that makes sense to do. But for me, like, I want to be more creative. So I took like a improv class through my quilting guild. I took an improv class, and that was really fun. And I am working on something that has to do with that, which I'll show probably in a different video. But I was working on that. And then the idea that I had about this this little birthday month quilt thing that I'm working on right now. And then like I went to the quilting at my put on by my quilting guild over the weekend, and somebody there was working on a crumb quilt that was amazing. And so I was just thinking, you know, I can combine, like it inspired me to get back to this idea and just to try it. And I guess what I'm saying is that my goal is to become really a quilt artist, right? To be able to just sit down with all these different fabrics and create something beautiful and not have to worry about a pattern and just make it into whatever I want to make it into. And one of the things, oh God, there was another person who was making a Lily Munster quilt, and that was amazing. So she was explaining to me her process on how she was making that happen, which was impressive and exciting. And so there's just so many different things you can do. And if you are a new quilter or really new at anything and you want to sort of learn how to do something new, like find people in your area or go to YouTube and get inspired by them, because I've definitely found tons of inspiration online too. But the idea is, you know, see what's out there and what people are doing, because it's pretty cool and it's pretty impressive, and it's fun to just sort of discover and get your own imagination going, you know? So that's kind of what I'm doing today. I'm hoping maybe somebody gets inspired to do something creative themselves, or maybe I get some good advice from those of you that have been doing this longer than me, which is probably all of you. But anyway, so that's what I'm up to. So I don't really have any rhyme or reason on how these should go together. I'm just trying to make it look like mosaic, I guess. Right? So we'll see. It might be a disaster. We'll see. So I'm not doing paper. It's starting to look like something, right? So I'm not doing paper piecing. I'm not being that thoughtful. I'm trying to be creative. So if you try to be creative, does that count as creativity? Trying to let the fabric speak to me. I don't know. Also, I'm not sure. Probably I should be a better planner. I know some people, like I was watching some YouTube videos, and I know some people will like draw it first so they have an idea of the space they're trying to fill and the size of the quilt that they want to make. And I probably should have given that more thought. But I just wanted to sit down and practice and try. And so, you know, if it doesn't work out, or if it doesn't have to be perfect the first time. Like, I can always go back and change it. But here's kind of the mess that I'm making. So you see that sort of idea? I'm just sewing all these little pieces together, and then um I want them to be smaller. So I'm going to trim some of these larger ones back. But the idea is I want it to look like broken glass, because I'm going to try to make this into a vase. But I definitely want it a lot smaller. So I'm just going to be ruthless, because who cares? Right? Do we like that? So dark green, light green, dark purple, light purple, dark blue, dark blue. So these are the only colors. I've got these 6 colors that I'm working with. And so let's think about like what goes next, or what should go next. I like this light green for over here, so let's do that. Oh, fun. So here's the stiletto that I was talking about the other day. And this will just help me sort of guide that fabric, because this fabric is already sewn together, so it has seams, so it helps me sort of guide those seams together. So I kind of like that. That's pretty good. And then I will cut, again, just randomly. See, I clearly don't know what I'm doing, but whatever. You don't have to. You don't have to always know what you're doing. All right, so that's the weird thing where I'm at right now. So I'm thinking about maybe a dark green over here. I also have this. Maybe I just take a random cut of this. I feel like this needs some dark green here, so I'm going to add it there. All right. So I add a little dark green there. So I feel like I need something to fill in this area. So I like this color for over here somewhere. So I have to figure out how I'm gonna do that, how I'm going to do that. So maybe I will do that like this. It's interesting, right? Because I don't know if you've ever done paper piecing. I've dabbled a little bit in paper piecing. I'm actually working on a paper piecing quilt right now called Over by the Pond. But the thing about paper piecing is when you sort of cut it together, then you fold it over and you trim the seam fabric. And so I'm thinking, I'm just trying to sort of incorporate what I know and figure out how that may or may not will work for me. So like, I hate that this is this weird gap that I have to figure out how to fill without totally wasting. Oh, okay. So here's what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out, I don't know if you can see that very well, but I'm trying to figure out how to fill this hole right here. So you see that? And so I'm thinking like, okay, I don't have to do it along that edge because this is already bigger than I want anyway. So maybe I do it sort of, I sew it sort of across this edge like that, and then I can cut all that extra off, and that leaves me with a little tiny piece of purple there. So I think I like that idea. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I feel like in this kind of sewing, there's really like no wrong way to do it. Like that's the whole idea, right? Is you just get in there and you start playing, and then you see what works. So that is my plan. Oh shit, I think I did that wrong. Huh. So now somehow I've done it backwards. So that's interesting. Can I make that work? All right, so as I'm talking about how you can't do anything wrong, I clearly did something wrong. So let me show you what I did. So I was talking about how you can't do anything wrong, and then I sewed it across just like that, which means it opens now, which is absolutely 100% wrong. So that's what I get. So now I'm gonna just rip it out real quick and do it again. But that's just part of the process. It doesn't actually bother me that much. Sometimes I want to just sit down and create. So that's what I'm doing. So somebody taught me, I talked about this on a video the other day, but somebody taught me that that little red thing right there on your thread ripper or seam ripper is supposed to protect your fabric so that you can go in and just cut it really quickly instead of having to pull out every stitch. And I still get nervous because I did have an experience where I cut my fabric by going too fast. And so I'm still a little nervous to trust that process. And I don't think this is the best one to practice on because it's so small and tight. So I think I'm just gonna do it the slow way. I don't know. We'll see. I am hoping to come out though with something beautiful when this is all said and done. I'm sure I'm not going to be able to do it in one sitting. But I like to just get started and I like to experiment and I like to learn the hard way. and I like to just kind of figure things out. And you got to start somewhere. So someday when I'm a famous art quilter, you can say you saw me at my very first one. I really do hope to get better at this and learn how to sort of make amazing things. I went to AQS, the American Quilters Society, I think it is. They have a big quilt shows every year, and they go to a couple of different cities, couple different states in the United States. And I went to the one that was in oh my God, Hartford, Connecticut a few weeks ago. And I mean, it's another thing where you get inspired because it's so amazing what people can create. And oh my God, they do amazing like thread art. And I'm just, it's insane. And so I always like walk away with all these ideas and I'm like, oh, well, I want to try that and I want to try this. And it's like, you can't do everything, but you can, you can do some things. So I'm just trying what I can do and we'll figure it out from there. All right, so here's the spot that I'm trying to fill. I have this weird hole there and I'm trying to fill it. And I want the pieces to be small for like crumb quilting. I don't want them big like this. And so what I was trying to do a second ago, where I totally screwed it up, is sew it like along this line so that it folds up and fills in some of that gap. And then I'll go back and I'll cut off these bigger pieces. So that's kind of what I am trying to do. So let's see if I can get it right this time. But I think I probably can. All right, I'm going to try it like this. Let's see if this works. Is that right? It is right, because I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to fold it over. See, I almost messed it up again. All right, so that's right. Here we go. All right, so now I have sewed it all along that line, and so I'm going to cut this off because this is all extra. And then I'm going to fold it open and I'm going to see with what I have left. And so there, see, I really love that. Now it's starting to look like, I think I'm getting the hang of it. So this obviously is folded right there, so that's no good. We don't want that. So we're going to have to find a piece to cover that. So I am happy to do that. So let's decide what color we want to go there. And I'm thinking maybe a dark purple, right? So let's try a dark purple. So I want to cover that weird folded piece right there. And so the idea is for it to be like this. I'm going to cut off that weird piece right there. All right, so I want to cover that folded. So I'm going to do it like this. Maybe I should. Let's get a bigger piece. All right. So covering up that folded piece, I'm going to sew it like that. Let's see how that works. All right. So now when I open it up, I sewed it like that. And now when I open it up, I've covered up that hole and I've added this other piece. So now like everything that's behind there, I don't need that. I can trim that off. There. How cool is that? That's pretty cool. All right, so now we need something to go over this area to deal with this weird little spot there. And so what do I want that to be? It looks like I need some kind of, maybe this turquoise blue, or maybe a dark blue. No, I think turquoise blue is going to do better there. So I have to be thoughtful about that. So I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it right about there, and we'll see how it turns out. Let's take a look-see. I'm going really slow, but I'm going slow on purpose. All right, get out of here. What did I do? Get out of here. Clear. I hit something on my screen that I didn't mean to. All right. So I just sewed this piece on here, and when I open it up, I'm just checking to see if it closed that gap that I wanted it to close. And it looks like it kind of did, but not really. But I'm just going to leave it for now, and I'm going to maybe add fabric later if I want to. I have to think about how I would do that. Interesting, right? All right, so I'm going to move over to this side of it over here, and I'm going to try to fill in something over here. And so in my mind over here, maybe we need a dark blue. All right, I'm just going to sew it right here and see what happens. Really, I'm just kind of learning as I go. All right, so this is me just trying to figure out what's going to work for this type of quilting, because I've never done this type of quilting before, and I'm just trying to be a little bit spontaneous, and I'm trying to try things, and this is sort of a learn by doing. Learn by doing. So I kind of like that. So I think I'm okay with that. And then I wonder if I did... maybe I cut... I need something to go across. I feel like I need something to go across like this area here and sort of connect all those together. And so I'm trying to figure out what color I want. And it looks like we need more of a dark green right there. And maybe I want to cover... So I also have this sort of weird flap that I made now. So maybe as I'm going across, I want to cover that flap. Because again, I want these pieces to be really small because I want it to come out looking like mosaic. And so I think it's fine that it's just sort of... I don't know, I kind of like it. Kind of like it all weird and wonky. The other thing I could do is I could do it like this. Where's that flap? Is it this one? Okay, it's this one that I'm trying to see. So that's the wrong colors. All right. So I want to do that, and I'm thinking dark purple. So do I have some dark purple somewhere? Dark purple over here. Get out of here. I don't know why that's weird. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. So for this spot here, I want to close that flap and I want to just sew this on like this. So it needs to make sure that it's over that flap so that when it folds up, so that's what I'm going to do there. Go, go, go. Too slow. Oh, yeah, see, so I closed that, so that's good. And what's funny is it's starting to look a little bit like a crazy like log cabin rose quilt, which is not actually what I was trying to do. So I may have to pivot and try something different. So weird. So now we have this side and this flap that I need to close, and so I have to be thoughtful about that. So another technique that I saw when I was researching, researching means looking at YouTube tutorials, and I was trying to figure out how to do something like this. And a lot of people will sew the scraps like directly on some interfacing or even get a like fabric glue and sew it on like that. And I'm wondering if I need to scrap this and I need to do something like that. So I just have to think about like this. So the problem that I'm having, if you have suggestions, please let me know. But the problem that I'm having is I'm not trying to do a scrappy log cabin rose. I'm trying to do like a mosaic vase. And so a mosaic vase would be like little triangles that are all sewn together or little diamonds that are all sewn together. And this is definitely starting to look more log cabiny. So I'm thinking maybe I just need to do triangles and just stick with triangles and see if that works. So right or wrong, that's what I'm going to do in this moment. So I am going to start with triangles and just sort of take it from there. So I have these sewn together. This is left over from my piano keys. And so I'm going to just like cut these into triangles. I think it's going to be helpful just to use my, I think it's going to be more helpful to use this. It's because I'm not cutting straight lines when I use my scissors. And so this will help me cut straight lines. Okay. So now I have my two first triangles together. So let's try it again. I have a bunch of these left over from my piano keyboarders, so I'm going to make these into triangles and see if that works. So I'm going to start by cutting it, I guess, in half. I think these are, let's look, I can measure. These are 4.5 inches, so I'm going to cut them roughly in half. I don't think they need to all be the same size, you know? So I'm going to cut those in half. So now I have smaller sections. And then I'm going to cut these into triangles. Interesting, right? All right, so let's see. Mm-mm-mm. 1, 2, it's a triangle. We're going to say this is going to be a triangle. We're going to say this is going to be a triangle. All right, now these might be too small. I don't know, but we're going to find out together. So, how will we do this? All right, for this I need my handy dandy little stiletto because we're talking about tiny scraps of fabric at this point. So I met someone who was working on a Crumb quilt at my quilt guild quilting the other day. And she said sometimes, because I was like, how small is too small when you're piecing together? And she said, she uses really small pieces. She didn't really give me a straight answer. So then I said, okay, well, I figure that you need, a 1/4 inch seam allowance all around, and then you need to have at least, some fabric left over that you can visually see. And she said, sometimes I do 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And so I'm like, oh, 1/8 of an inch is a lot smaller. So that is definitely something to think about, right? How are we going to do this? Maybe I'm trying to figure out where it has an end that will match up, and I think it goes here. So I'm going to do this. So these little pieces together. So I'll show you what I was doing before versus what I'm doing now, because I'm learning as I go, and then you have to tell me which one you like better. All right, so I'm going to do a couple more first, and then I'm going to pick it up and take a look at it and see if this is more like what I was trying to achieve in my brain. And honestly, I think it is. So that's a good thing. All right, so now maybe this goes. No. Let's think about it. All right, let's try this. So I guess what I worry about is if you're really doing like an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, will the fabric fray and will it come apart? But I figure she knows what she's talking about because she's been doing it a lot longer than I have. So I'm going to try not to overthink it too much. And hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. All right, so if I want it to go fold out like this, if I want it to fold out like this, I have to sew it like this. All right, let's try it. Let's try it, Sam. Oh, come on. So the fabric is getting stuck in there and it's getting a little nuts. And so I'm gonna see what I can do. I think it's a job for my stiletto to keep this on track. All right, so let me show you where we're at now. All right, so the idea is I'm trying to piece all these pieces together, and I want to make a piece large enough that I can then cut out the shape of a vase, right? So it looks like a stained glass vase. And so I started doing it like this, and I feel like it was starting to look more like a rose, like a log cabin rose or something. Like I was going round and round and round, and I'm like, that's not really the look I was going for. So what I'm going for is more like little shards of glass that are mosaic together into a vase. I'm thinking about a specific vase that I used to have that I loved that was purple stained glass. And so I think I like how this is turning out better, right? What do you guys think? You have to let me know. But anyway, I'm going to keep going because I think this is better. So let's think about it. Triangles. So I just want to keep cutting triangles. So this is a triangle-ish. So if I were to add this on there, where's my little scissors? If I were to add this on there, because I think it needs some dark purple, where would I put it? So I could do it like this and it would fold up there. Ooh, I like that. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'll show you. Come on now. Definitely weird with these little tiny fabric, right? Like it gets sort of stuck. It's like, what do you want me to sew? And I think the fabric gets stuck down there inside the machine a little bit. Well, let's try it again. Come on. I'm going to lift this up and just move it slightly. I think the feed dogs sort of grab it and pull it down, and that's not what we're looking for. There we go. There we go. All right, so now that's starting to look better, but again, it's starting to look a little, so I need to be careful and be aware of that. So I'm going to go in behind this and I'm going to cut this fabric off, right? And so now that's looking pretty good. So now I feel like I need a piece right here. And so I'm going to have to be thoughtful about how I do that and what color I want to use. And I'm thinking maybe this pretty neon green. Let's see. Oh, look, I have a whole bunch of these cut. Perfect. All right. So if I were to sew this over here, what would that look like? It's weird because it all starts, I start to just naturally want to go back to that log cabin, and that's not what I want to do. So I have to be careful. I have to watch myself. So all I'm doing now is I'm cutting a couple of triangles so I can try different ones and see what works. But I'm thinking I need this neon green right here. And then, like, can I put it behind it? So weird, right? Maybe I just do it in a way that it fits this edge here for now. And then it will open up like that. And then I'll have to come with a piece. So maybe I should do like, I don't really know. I'm just trying to figure it out. Oh, maybe if I do it like that. Okay, maybe if I do it like that. So I'm going to sew it like this and we'll see. We'll see how it comes out. How fun is this? Improv. And it's a little bit improv. It's a little bit from quilting. It's a little bit fly by the seat of my pantsing. All right, let's see. I don't want to cover that because this isn't a... So let's cut it and look at it. This is not supposed to be a log cabin, right? So I don't want to cut it so much that... Oh, I think that's good, right? And then when I quilt it, it'll sort of sew down some of these ends too. So I think it's going to be cool. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to trim this off because nobody wants to look at that. And I need to decide what color and try to put a triangle right there. So are we thinking light purple, dark purple? Oh, maybe this pretty turquoise because now I don't have enough turquoise. So I'm going to find a turquoise. So let me do that. I'm going to cut some turquoise triangles and see what I can do with those. I'll be right back. I don't know, I'm cutting these kind of big. It's making me nervous. I gotta get it smaller. All right, so I just cut some random triangles in this pretty turquoise color. Where's my thing? And so the idea was to put some turquoise in here, right in here somewhere. And so I'm gonna see if any of these sort of randomly cut triangles will work in that spot. So let's see. So if we look at that like that, that's going to be open. I think I'm going to have to press this a little. Then I would say I want this to go sort of like that. The good thing about using batiks is I can turn it any which way because there's no right side or wrong side. So that's kind of helpful. All right, so I think what I'm going to try doing, and I'm learning as I go, so I definitely don't know what I'm doing. But I think what I'm going to try doing is sewing that right there so that when it opens up, it's going to open up kind of to close that spot, I hope. So let's sew it on and see if it works. I think I need to press everything. So let me do that real quick. Get hot. Get hot, little iron. So I don't know if you have any ideas that would help me figure this out, but I think I'm getting there, kind of. Right? So I just have to figure out how to connect these two pieces. Wrong sides together. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I just allow, maybe I just allow it to be free, and then when I quilt it, it'll quilt it down. It's called, somebody wrote in the chat, how do I spell the type of fabric? It's called Batik. So it's Batik. And there's a bunch of different brands, and it means that it's hand dyed and that both sides of the fabric are usable. So it's really pretty fabric. This is fabric, in case you're just joining, that I used on a mosaic quilt that I made. And the comments were, oh, it looks like stained glass. And so my idea is I want to put I want to randomly crumb quilt a bunch of these pieces that I have left over from my quilt into a piece of fabric big enough that I can cut out to look like a vein, so like a vase, so it'll look like a stained glass vase, and then I'm going to put flowers in it. So that's what I'm working on today, and I've never done this before, so I'm just sort of learning as I go. But so I think if I don't sew this, because if I don't want top stitching to show, so I think if I don't sew this, it's going to be fine. And then maybe I put another color up there, like maybe light purple or, you know, whatever. But if I did like something like that, then that would hold it together, even though this isn't sewn together, right? Even though these two pieces aren't sewn together, if I sew something sort of over it like that, it would hold them together. And then when I do the quilting on the actual quilt, it'll tie that down. So this is not perfect, but I'm learning. So if I'm learning, I'm happy. So let me press this again, and then I'll add this fabric. All right. So the idea is to go like this, and then we'll see how it looks. Is that right? I don't know if it's right, but I'm going to try it. All right, let's try it. All right, so I think that worked. So I still have a hole there, so that's not great. But I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things, because I'm just going to keep adding and changing. And then when I'm done, I'm going to quilt it. So that will hold it down. So I'm just going to be okay with that, I've decided. This is definitely a learning thing. But like I said, that always makes me happy. Love to learn. Okay. So there we go. This is what we have so far. So I think this is much better. Much better than this. This was looking log cabiny, which is not what I wanted. So I think this is better. And let's think about what the next triangle should be. So I like the idea of putting a green one here. So let me do that. I think I like this. There you go. That's cool, right? So I'm going to cut this off because this is in the back and no one cares. So let me do it carefully. I'm going to give it a quick press so I can see where I'm at. So what do you think? Does it look good? I think I need some dark purple. All right, do I have dark purple? Let me cut some triangles in dark purple, and then I'll play with those for a minute. Whew. So weirdly, you would think I could just cut this with my scissors, but I found that when I cut with my scissors, I was totally making crooked lines. So even though this is a short cut, I just think it works better with my with the ruler. So that's what I'm doing. So just give me a minute. Let me get this done. All right, so I have some purple triangles. So I feel like I need some purple because there's no purple over here, right? No dark purple. So I have to figure out how I'm gonna add those. And I just cut really small pieces, which is okay. All right, I think I'm gonna add, I'm just trying to figure out where I'm gonna add it. And so I think I'm gonna add it like that. So that means I have to fold it over this way and sew it on and try to, when I sew it on, I want to try to make sure that I cross the gap, right? And then I can trim this. So that's kind of the idea. So let's see if I can get that to work. I went to a quilting through my quilting guild on Saturday, and somebody was working on a crumb quilt. And I've said this already, but I'll say it again. So she said that sometimes she uses 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, which seems really small, but she has way more experience than I am, so I'm just trusting her. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see. All right, so we got a little dark purple there, and I feel like we need some dark purple up here. So that was a very small piece. I might need a bigger piece. Thank you. Someone said that was a smart thing to do, so thank you for that. I need encouragement because I'm learning. I'm trying. So I'm going to put this on right here and see how that goes. But definitely, if any of you have advice, I am open to it for sure. I think I need a bigger triangle for this area that I'm trying to cover. All right, so my idea here is to try to cover this somehow and get a triangle, I think, in like that. And so I'm going to turn it over and try to cover, I'm trying to cover this weird like intersection, I guess, here. And it's okay if I cut off some of this green, but I don't want to cut off all of it. So I'm trying to angle it in a way that would do both of those things for me at the same time, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm attempting to do. So let's see how it turns out. I'm also sewing really slow because it can easily get caught in the feed dogs, and so I'm trying to be thoughtful about that. So, all right, let's get some of that intersection cut off. We're going to open that up, and I think that looks good. So I'm in danger of doing the log cabin thing again, so I need to watch myself for sure. But I'm pretty happy with it so far. So I think I need turquoise, right? I need some more turquoise. So I guess the problem is, here's the problem I'm trying to solve. So if you have advice, please let me know. But I'm trying to figure out, I want to keep, I'm thinking you are still too fast. Too fast. Oh, in my, in my sewing machine, you mean? Maybe. So maybe what I want to, oh, okay. See, I worry it's going to get too log cabiny. I'm trying to figure out how to sort of deal with this spot here. And so it would be nice if I could like somehow sew both those ends. But if you fold it over and you sew it like that, then you have a flap, and you can't fold it over and sew it like that. So, Anyway, so I don't know. I gotta figure it out. So I don't know if there's a trick to that. Because if I do it like this, I'm in danger of being log cabin, right? And I don't want to be log cabin. And the other thing I could do maybe is maybe I just don't care about it. I leave holes like I did before, and then I'll deal with them when I'm quilting. Maybe that's the right answer. Tricky stuff, right? All right, I'm going to sew this on. I think I'm just going to try that. And if I leave holes in some places, c'est la vie, baby. I think it depends on which size fabric I'm doing. The size of the fabric pieces, because if there's, like this was big enough that it wasn't fighting. There, see, that came out okay. Two triangles together first, then add? Yeah, it's like you're a genius. That is a really good idea. So let me think about that for a minute. All right. I don't know, I'm liking it. I'm excited. All right, so let me see. So let's do 2 random triangles. We'll do colors here. I'll do these colors. I'll do these colors together and see if I can fill in some spot over here maybe, right? I do feel like I need bigger. Let me cut a couple bigger. Couple bigger ones. All right. All right, so maybe we'll sew these 2 together, and then will they somehow, if I sew these 2 together, will they somehow fill in this spot? Oh, maybe I do 3 together. So maybe I do this, and I keep cutting triangles, and I keep running out of triangles. I don't know. Maybe I'm cutting them too small. All right, so let's do some blues, and let's do some purples. Where's my purple? Here's my purple. All right, I'm going to try your very genius idea and see if it works. Thank you. All right. So, what am I trying to do? I'm going to try to fill this spot, maybe, right? So let's see if we sewed 2 together like this. Let's do that first and see how that comes out. I love how you're thinking. All right, so now we have these 2 together. And so will these 2, here, let's add a purple. Let's add a purple. I feel like I cut bigger pieces, but truth is I don't want them big, so I should just stop being so impatient. All right. All right. So now I have this sort of interesting triangle piece, right? So where could I use that? Like I'm thinking, could I use that across here with this big mess that I have going on here? Are these pieces too big, I guess is the other question. To think about this. I don't think that's going to work with the colors I have there, so I think it has to be more like this. So I think I'm good with that. So here's my thought is I'll put, I can't remember where I was originally trying to fill the gap. So I'm going to sew these together and then flip them over. And I think I love that. Yay. Thank you, Precious Web, for your genius idea. Appreciate it. All right, let's try this. All right, so now I have that seam where all three of those pieces come together. So this is where this handy dandy little tool called a stiletto comes in handy. And it's just like it's kind of like a really thin awl. It's just a sharp, and it helps you to hold that fabric down without having to worry. So like for these thick seams or intersection, without having to worry about getting your fingers stuck in there. So it's actually a really handy tool. I use it all the time. I bought it for a applique class that I took, and I had never even heard of it before, and now I use it all the time. All right, let's see how that turned out. Fingers crossed. Yay! Lovely, right? And that kind of stops that log cabin effect. So that was really smart. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Love that. All right. So I'm going to do that some more. And I think I'm going to try to do it with smaller pieces because I don't necessarily want these that big, but it's okay because I can cover them up as I go. But I like that technique. That definitely helps. So thank you so much. All right, so let's sew some colors. Let's sew some triangles together. I think I'm just going to have to stop and sew triangles because this is going to, I keep using them up. I use them up too fast. They're probably all on the floor. Like, where'd they all go? Well, that's funny. Okay. I'm going to cut some triangles for a minute and then I'll come back. I'm excited. Now I feel like I can figure this out. All right, so we have some triangles there. Let's get some different colors. I don't know what this mess is, but let's clean this up a little. Ow, ow, ow. All right, well, I just cut myself. So that's a good time. So give me a minute. I gotta go get a Band-Aid. Dang it. Yeah, I cut myself. Will you get me a Band-Aid? Just a couple. Just throw them on there and I'll do it. Right here is fine. Thank you, my love. Will you get me a wet paper towel too so I don't want to get blood on my fabric. Sorry about that, folks. Don't look if you don't like blood. I'm gonna clean my finger up. God dang it. Ouchie mama. I need another one too so I can clean the spot. I think you're not supposed to cut yourself on live television. Ugh, God, that hurt too. Thank you, my sweet love. That's good enough. Yeah, thank you. Neosporin would be good. I have some in my bathroom if there's none there. Sorry, everyone. I had a little accident day, but I'll be back in a minute and I'll show you what I'm doing. Thank you, love. Just got to get a Band-Aid on it. A little Neosporin, a little Band-Aid. Sorry if this is grossing you out. All right. Let's hope that works. Jeez. Jeez Louise. All right. Sorry about that. I had a little accident, but I am going to add another Band-Aid or two, and then I'll be right back at it. So in case you are wondering what I'm up to besides this horrific detour that we're on right now, is I made a mosaic quilt last year, and everyone kept commenting on the video with the quilt that it looked like stained glass. And so when it came time to creating a quilt for the knitting guild or the quilting guild that I belong to, they wanted you to do your birth flower. And so I was thinking, hoping that holds it. Sorry, this is gross. So sorry about that. Anyway, so I was thinking, well, I will do roses. That's my birth flower. And then I will, sorry, I realized I still have dried blood on my hand. Here we go. So anyway, so I will do, I was thinking I'll do roses, which is my birth flower, June. And then I will use the scraps from my quilt that everybody said look like stained glass to make like a little stained glass vase. And so my idea was that I wanted to, okay, I think we're good. So I wanted to just kind of do like crumb quilting and just get it all sort of put together randomly. And then once I get a piece that's big enough, I'll cut out um, a a shape that looks like a vase, and then I'll put roses in it. So anyway, so that's what I'm doing. That's where this idea came from. I've never done this before, so I'm learning as I go. And you guys are helping me, so thank you for that. And please feel free to add any suggestions that you may have because, like I said, I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm just learning. So this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to cut some different triangles from all these different colors that I have and get them ready so that I can just sort of sew them together. So one of the things that was really smart that one of you suggested was sewing a few pieces together before I add them to the group, because that will help sort of fill in some of those spaces. So I think that that is a really good idea. And so that's what I'm trying to do now is pre-cut a bunch of triangles so I can just kind of get busy working on them. And then I had this little mishap, and so that threw me off for a moment, but I think I'm back. And let's do that. All right, so now we have some triangles to work with. Good, good, good. All right, so I have some triangles to work with. I think these are not the right Band-Aids. All right, let me just deal with this. I will be right back, I promise. All right. Good, good, good. I have bigger Band-Aids. All right, sorry you guys. I just don't want it to, I don't want it to get on the fabric.
You need stitches?
No. All right. Momentarily, I'm taking a break, but I will be right back to work, and I'm so sorry. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I'm going to try to do this off camera so as to not gross you guys out. So what do you think? Do you like my idea? I think it's a good idea. I think the Band-Aids I used earlier were just too small. There we go. That's better. That's a better. All right. So I'm going to do 2 more and then I'm going to be done. So I'm going to do 1 over the top. I'm going to do 1 more around and then I'm going to be done. So that's your public service announcement for today. Be careful of those stupid cutters. All right, good, done, perfect. All right, so I have some of these. I need some light purple triangles and I need some dark green triangles. So let me handle that real quick. I have all this extra fabric, which is fabulous. So I'm going to do some dark green. Dark green. And what was the other color I said I need? I have dark green. I need light purple. I don't know if I have any strips of the light purple. Oh, here I have these. That's perfect. All right, so now we have some light purple. So I think I have all the colors. All right, so now let's see. we got to decide what we're going to fill in next. And so I think next I have to figure out something to do here. And so I think I'm going to do maybe this side first. And so I'm thinking like light green, light purple, and dark blue. Yeah, I think that sounds right. So light purple, what did I say? Light purple, dark blue. I forget what the other color was. Now, where am I doing it? I'm doing it over here. So light blue, dark purple, and dark green is what I think I said. Or all right, let's try it. All right, so let's put a dark green in there. So what is the space that I'm trying to cover? I want to put something here. So I want it to go, I do want it to kind of go at an angle. And so to your point, maybe it makes sense to, ooh, okay, so now I'm going to do the green over here, and I'm hoping it's going to fill in that space. And so we'll see how good of a job I do. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. All right. Nope, that's not good. That's not what I wanted to do. Are you guys friends with your seam ripper, or? My seam ripper and I have become very good friends. I think it's just part of the process. And this is because the fabric got stuck because I was sewing this tiny little point. So I think it's going to be better if I sew it from the other end first, where it's thicker. So right. All right, so now I have to go back and figure out what I was thinking. So I think what I was thinking was I wanted it to go sort of right like that, and then I needed this in that space. So I was going to do it like this, and I think I should start it maybe here where it's a little thicker so it doesn't get bunched up like that again. See if I can get that to work. Hold on. La la la. All right. Here we go, Charlie Brown. Use my stiletto, keep my little fingers safe. Yeah, that appears to be working. All right, let's see now if I can get, yes, only 6 colors. Yay. I want to be your BFF. I'll show you. Did you see the quilt? Let me show you the quilt. This is the quilt that I'm using the leftover fabric for. I don't know how well you can see that, but I love it. It's my favorite. It's the second quilt I've ever done. And like I said, all the comments were, oh, it looks like stained glass. So that's why it sort of came into my mind where I was like, you know, I should try that. So here is my little piece. And the idea was to try to fill up this section here. So let me show you what I was thinking. So first of all, so I think if I sew, thank you. So I think if I sew like here and then here, when I fold it over, it'll work, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, so yeah, that's where my inspiration came from, is that quilt that I made. And so I thought, well, if everybody thinks it looks like stained glass, then maybe that would work out for a stained glass vase, right? So we'll see. That's the hope. All right, I'm going to use my little stiletto again. There's a lot of seams right there. And I think here I'm going to put my needle down and I'm going to lift it up. And I'm going to turn it a little. And then I'm going to go in that direction. See how that comes out. Huh. So that's interesting. I don't know. What do you think? Let me press it and see. I don't know. I think it's working. I actually do think it's working. So I think the next step is to fill up this space here somehow. And so first I should pick a color, and it looks like it should be this pretty green color. And I think at this point, I'm trying to fill this hole. And so I think I want to get a green triangle that will go across this whole sort of area. So I need a bigger green triangle. So let's cut some more. All right, so now I have this giant one. And so just think about it. I want it to just kind of clearly go across that to hold it. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. All right, so I want it to go. Maybe I want it to go there. All right, I'm going to try it like that, and I'll show you. I'll show you what I'm doing. All right, I think that works. All right, so that's sort of covered up that spot there. And now I'm going to go behind it and I'm going to trim off some of that extra fabric back there that we don't need. Maybe I do need to go with bigger triangles. I don't know. I mean, this is a work in progress. This is me learning and just trying things, experimenting. So I'm not always going to know exactly what I'm doing. I'm just kind of learning as I go. So here I'm feeling like, okay, I want to cover this, right? And this. And so this is where I need that triangle. So this is where Precious Webb's genius idea is going to come in handy, I think. So I do think I want bigger green slices. So let me see what I have over here to cut up bigger green triangles. Oh, here, look, see? Ha-ha. It's good to save your pieces, right? So let's see what we can do with these. All right, so I am thinking I want to do dark green and I want it to fit like that. So I have to be thoughtful about how I do that. So maybe what I want is another color. Here. Where's my purple triangles? All right. So I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, so if I put a, which one is it? So this one. So if I put a green here, then I probably want a purple here. I should have done that. I'm gonna let that go for now. So I'm going to do this here. I'm going to do the purple here. And then I think that'll do it. So I'm going to do the purple and the green first. I don't know. I think this is a fun way to spend an afternoon or a morning. I've lost track. All right. So I kind of like how this is going to turn out, right? Because it's going to give me, if I sew this on like that, it's going to give me almost a straight line over here to sew something else. And so I think that's how I have to start thinking about it, is after I put this piece on, is it going to leave me a straight line? So again, I'm learning as I go, but that's kind of where what I think I should be thinking. So I'm going to press this, sew it on, and see if I get the results that I'm expecting. Because it doesn't have to be perfect, because I'm okay with trimming it, you know. So maybe the idea is to use these bigger triangles and then I trim them. And that's a-okay. Different types of triangles, also not just different sizes. You mean like different lengths, like different, I don't know, right angle, and I forget all the names of the triangles. Is that what you mean? See, I think that's pretty good because I can put something across there. But now I've created this weird thing here that doesn't look good. So I have to figure out how to fix that. Such a weird, right, obtuse, obtuse. Thank you. Right. Got it. All right. I can try that. I mean, I think I am naturally because I'm just cutting randomly, but you're right. I could be more deliberate about it. All right, let's think about how I'm going to fix. So the dilemma that I'm talking about now is this weird spot, like right there. So I have to figure out how I'm going to cover that. And maybe I take this blue, piece off here, and then it gets sewn over. I think that's right. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. Let's see. Yay. I feel like the only way that you can really get good at this is by doing it. And so I figured I'm just going to try it. And I'm definitely learning. And I'm hoping like by the end of this session that I'm going to have like a better idea of how to think about this and how to put this together, right? Like learning as I go. I think you have to like allow yourself room to be creative and kind of learn as you go, because if I just keep going to like, classes and doing what they tell me, you might come away with a nice finished product, but you haven't really learned a lot because you just did what they said and you weren't really thinking about what you were doing. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that makes sense for my brain. All right, so I took this blue piece off because it's my project and I get to do what I want. And what I'm looking for, I guess, is a more straight line to sew across. So now I have this piece, right? And I have kind of this straight line here. So if I do a bunch of triangles in here to fill up that space, then I can figure out how to deal with this in a minute. So let me try to do that. So let's see. So I have dark green, so I don't want to start with dark green. So we'll start with, we need maybe some light purple. We probably need some of this. So we're going to do these two together first. I'm doing light purple and the pretty like turquoise blue that I love. I need my stiletto. Here it is. All right, little machine, don't get worked up. All right, I'm gonna do light purple, turquoise blue. What other colors? I need some more dark green, so let's do a dark green like that. Stiletto. All right, so now we have light green. Oh, I went on a right angle. That was an accident, but that's okay. So if that is the case, maybe I do it, I attach it like this first. I like that idea. All right, so I'm going to attach it like this first so that it opens up like that. See, we're just learning as we go. Trying things. Just like that, I lost my place. Jeez. So I want it to look like that, so I want to attach it like this. Okay, I got you. I'm back. And she's back. All right, I'm going to press it and then I'll show it to you. Interesting. Okay, so I'm not sure what I think about it. So let me show you what I've done. So now I feel like the pieces are getting too big. I have to think about this for a minute. All right. So I could just fold this over and sew that piece, which is the idea, and then just take it from there. So I think that's what I'll do. All right. Filled it over, baby. I definitely need my stiletto. Finish. Let me press it and we'll see where we're at. Oh, it looks like a little piece came through. See if I can poke it through. Oh, dang it. All right, so the idea is that it looked good and it did what I wanted, but I somehow left that little piece out, so that was kind of dumb. So now I gotta see if I can poke it through there or if I'm gonna have to undo it. Let's see. They are too big. I agree with you. Same concept, just with smaller pieces, maybe. Yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. So maybe the idea, I don't know if you were here at the very beginning, but I started doing this and it looked more like log cabin-y. So I put it aside and I started doing this. So now that we sort of have a better idea, maybe I just start again with smaller pieces, right? So it doesn't mean I can't cut this up and use this at some point, but maybe instead of trying to fight against myself, I'll just do that instead. You're actually a huge help to me today. Thank you. All right, I'm going to try that. So let's Let's see where we get. Let's see where it leads. Hey, what's happening? Fabric got stuck in the feed dogs. Dang it. All right, I'm gonna have to fix that. All right, technical difficulties. I need to fix that. Make sure it's not jammed. All right, I think we're okay. All right, let's try it again. Now, is my needle still threaded? It is. I have to do a little test piece to make sure everything's good before I start again. No, my needle is not threaded. All right. Let me rethread the needle. So this machine that I have now is new to me. I just got it not too long ago, and I did learn how to use the needle threader, which is super exciting because on my other machine I never learned how to use it. So it's kind of helpful. All right, did that work? I think it did. Hey. All right, let's test it. That doesn't sound good. Yeah, that's not. I knew it couldn't be that easy. A little rat's nest going on in there. Let's see if I can get that cleaned up. I have to take off the, I don't know what that's called, base plate, sewing plate, whatever that thing's called. It's so sweet. All right. It's amazing how fast this collects lint too, right? Like I feel like I just cleaned this out not too long ago. And somewhere I have tweezers. Let's see if I can find these. Love, will you bring me my tweezers? I have tweezers over in the living room by where I usually sit. Could you bring them to me, please? Thank you, honey. Oh, man. I don't know if you guys are interested in this. I can move the camera now. You want to see? Since this is going to be my focus. I guess you can't see very well. I'm trying to get all this mess out of here. All right, we're going to take the bobbin out, and we got to get all these threads out. I guess this is real life. This is what you get when you watch a live as opposed to an edited thing. Better linty than dust. Besides, the more you use it, the lintier it gets. It's a fact. Jeez Louise. All right. Making progress. Jeez. Where is my little brush? What did I do with you, little brush? Here it is. All right. Just full of string. Got really tangled in there. I don't know if there's a better way to do this, but it's definitely still got little strings in there. I'm trying to get to. See that? Get out of here. Get lost. All right, is that everything? It's hard to tell. All right, we're going to try it. Bobbin, I believe to be good. So we're going to close up the bobbin. I think this is all set now. I hope. So let's put this back on. There we go. The needle's no longer threaded, so let's handle that real quick. Oops. Dang it. What happened? You get all braggy. Oh, I know how to use my needle threader. There we go. All right, that I think worked. All right, I think we're good. So let's put this guy on. Get up here. And let's give it another try. Where's my little test fabric? All right. It still doesn't sound right. Yeah, that's no good. Yeah, I see you. I hear you. All right. Yeah. Let's do this. Needle up. Needle up. This is up. What is in there still? All right, let's try it again. So we got a cut finger. And we got a jammed up bird's nest mess. I just don't see anything else in there. Right? Is there anything else? Am I missing? I just don't see anything else in there. So maybe I need to redo the bobbin. Let's see, what are you saying? Better linty, the dread bird's nest, yes. Did you loop it around twice by mistake when you did the threader? That's a good question. All right. All right, so we're going to try this, and this is interesting, and this machine is new, so these bobbins are new to me, so I'm going to see if I remember how to do this. I think it goes around like that, and then it goes, how does it go? It's like that. Okay. No. As a handy dandy little thing, because I don't remember. I haven't done this very often. Okay, so it goes around like that. Show me again. It goes in through that, which I did, and then it goes, did I do that? All right, let's take it out and start again. Sorry. All right. So we have this little bobbin, and it goes in through this little hole there, down, and then it goes around. Oh, I did it. Okay, perfect. All right, so now we'll put this back. We'll put this back. I literally, I do not see any more thread in there. A little lint. Get out of here, lint. But I don't see thread. All right, let's try it again. Nothing on here, so this is all good. All right, so now let's just start over with threading. So we'll start at the top. We'll go around, up. I gotta make sure this is up all the way, which it is. And so we go around that. Make sure that pops in there, which it did, around here. And then we go through this little thingamabob right there. And now we go to the threader, which is around this weird thing here. And then we come in here like that, and we let it suck it through, which it did. And now I just gotta make sure it's... Yeah, so now it's through the needle. So yay, down and back. And now before we put anything else on, we'll try it again. That's true. That's true. It is cool, right? Because my old machine definitely didn't have that. So it's a nice little feature. All right, let's just do it like this and see if it works. It just doesn't sound right. Still a problem. Threading the bobbin. Okay, so now I just didn't thread the bobbin right. Oh, no, that's still on there from before. So what is my error, people? Needle is up. All right, well, maybe it's... You're so sweet. It didn't work this time. Dang it. Oh. All right, I'm going to use a bigger piece of fabric because I don't know what's happening. It's making me crazy. It's really stuck in there. All right, we cut it from the top. Now we're going to cut it from the bottom. Look at that mess. Jeez Louise. What is happening? All right, bobbin out. There's no connection there. I wonder, well, like, how do I get in where all that mess is? Do I have to take this apart? It might be time to call it a day while I get this figured out because I don't want to bore everybody. Unless I'll try it one more time. If it doesn't work, then we'll call it a day until I get this working again. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow. But let me try it one more time before we give up. I don't know how to get underneath this. Like, I don't know how much I can take this apart because I've never done that before, so it makes me nervous. There's a little screw right here. There's two little screws, so maybe I can take that up and get underneath it. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get to it. Does this whole thing come out? The part I'm shocked that does come out. I'm shocked. It's going to work this. I'm shocked that does come out. The part where the bobbin goes. This part comes out. Like down here. I feel like there's two little screws right here, so maybe, and that's the feed dogs, so maybe if I can lift those, oh, that lifts a little bit. I could get in there where that stupid thread lives. And it lifts up a little bit. I don't even see the thread anymore though, so I don't know what happened. Oh, there it is, okay. See, so now all I'm doing is tearing the thread, so that sucks. That's not what I'm trying to do. I could take this foot off. Let's see, where's that? There we go. Yay, yay. Ooh, that was a nice big piece. Mm. Dang it, I'm not able to grab that piece. Come on, come on. Also, I should probably unplug it, but if I unplug it or if I turn it off, then I'm going to lose my light. Let's try it. Just because I'm putting metal into an electrical thing. And I can't see a freaking thing, so that's not going to work. All right, I think that this is going to be a bigger project. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody, and I really appreciate all your thoughtful feedback. 570 Quilters Edition. First, turn off and unplug. Remove the needle presser foot, bobbin case, and stitch place. Right, which is what I've done. Then use tweezers. Yes. That is what I'm trying to do. It's stuck like way down in underneath, and I feel like all I'm doing is like tearing that. I'm ripping the thread, and really I think what I need to do is take this bobbin case out, but I don't know if it comes out. You're so sweet to stick with me and try to help. I appreciate it. I like literally don't know what to do. See, I feel like there's two screws right here, so I could potentially take off these are the feed dogs, right? So I could potentially take the feed dogs off, but that's not really going to help all that much because the feed dogs aren't in my way. The problem is that the thread is stuck way down inside, and when I feel here, there's nothing, like this is where the bobbin goes, and there's nothing there. And I don't know that I'm sure that comes out. I just don't know how. I've never taken it out before. And so like, how do I get inside there where that thread is? And that's the part that I'm having trouble with. Dang it. Let's see. Then use tweezers to remove tangled threads from the bobbin area and around the hook. Release the case, locate the small hinged latch lever. Oh, there's a latch lever on the front of the bobbin case and pull the latch to the right to release the lock mechanism. You are so helpful. Thank you. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going to read that again. Release the case, locate the small hinged latch lever on the front of the silver bobbin case. So there's a lever. Is that this? I wonder what that looks like. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Where's the lever? I don't know what that is. I do. Oh, yay. Thank you. Thank you. That worked. Oh my God. Yay. Okay, so let's see if I can see. So that's released. And now, all right, let's see. Oh my God, you're the best. Thank you so much. We really are BFFs. God, look at that mess. Did you see that big hunk of thread I pulled out? Huh? Well, I hope it was supposed to do that. Yay, look at that. Wow. I don't know if you can see that. Wow. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. 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 All right. So is that everything? I hope. All right, little machine. Now let's see if I can get you put back together. Yay, I think we're back in business. Thank you. Oh my God, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, my new friend. All right, let's test it out. Plug it back in. Turn that guy on. Get rid of this ridiculous light. Oh, I forgot about this. All right. Good, good, good. I'm very excited and hopeful. All right, so let's get a bigger piece to test on so I don't make it worse. Fine, let's just use this. So I have to put the foot back on. That would help. Like, why does it look weird? Okay, good. Foot's on. Foot's on. Thread needs to be, needle needs to be threaded. So we will do that. Right now we're not threading the needle. So we got that in there. Got this over here. Come on. There we go. Okay, needle is threaded. Life is beautiful. We're going to put that through there, and then we're going to take a bigger piece of fabric to test our whatever. Let's see what you're saying. Release the case. This is all from Google. Huge chunk. You're welcome. The feet. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, let's try it. See how it's working. Yay, that sounds better. Oh, rat's nest, but usually that works itself out after a minute. So let's try it again now that it's had a minute to think about what it's done wrong. See if it corrects itself. Yeah, that's better. All right, I want to try one more piece just to be certain. And then I will let it go. Let's try. Yay, we're back in business. All right. That's better. All right, yay. Perfect, darling, perfect. All right, let's put the camera back where it goes. Sounds so much better, absolutely. All right, let's set up the camera. Is that where we had it? I can't remember. We'll try it. Ooh, and look what I found, a giant green triangle. All right, yay. Thank you, we're back in business. All right, let's be thoughtful now about how we do all this. So I have to find where, oh, this was the piece I did, right? Is it? I don't know. I've lost track of what I did, but I'm going to start with this because at this point I don't care. Gotta get the iron turned back on. I'm going to press this, and I'm just going to start with this piece right here. Come on, iron. All right, good. So now, I don't know if this is the same piece I was using before, but this is the piece we're going to use now. So we're starting over. We did a couple of different attempts. We did something that started looking like a log cabin. That's not what we wanted. And then we started sort of understanding the technique a little better, thanks to Precious Web. Thank you. And so now I'm going to start again with what we learned. Precious Web, thank you so much for joining. And honestly, thank you for all of your help. I am going to try to schedule these things, you know, but I'm not sure. But I am going to try to get on within the next day or two. But thank you for joining. Thank you for all your help. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Let's see, you can't complain about auto shop. That's true. Anyway, thank you. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna work on this for a little while. Today is Tuesday, so maybe I'll come back on Friday. I'll try to come back on Friday, but thank you. All right, so back to it. So then we decided, okay, we're starting to kind of understand maybe how to put these things together a little better. And so, but they were getting too big. I didn't like how big they were, right? I want to keep it small. So then I decided that I'm going to start sewing together small little pieces, and then I'm going to do maybe lines of small little pieces that are offset to make it look random and see if that works. So that's my current sort of thought process. And then everything blew up because I got a nest in my needle, but that's been resolved. So we're just going to move forward and not worry about it. All right, so I'm going to sew this guy here. And I'm going to try to keep sort of straight lines. I want to see if I can get it to If I can get sort of straight lines of triangles, and then if I can offset it, if it will still look random, because really what I want is I want it to look random. I don't want it to look like rows. And so that's part of the problem. So let's see. We're just testing and experimenting, and we'll just see how it goes. So I'm going to use my little stiletto that I love. I have to get myself organized because I just went through a crazy thing, and now I'm back, and I don't want it to happen again, so I'm going to try to be careful. All right. So I kind of like the look of that, right? Like we're getting this straight line to work off of. So I'm going to press this. And we're also getting the smaller pieces. So I'm just like seeing, okay, how can I put this together that will sort of, I guess, fill that area up. So maybe it's like that, right? So I'm going to try that. The idea is I'm trying to put this together so it looks like mosaic. Let's see. I want it to look like stained glass or like mosaic vase is what I'm trying to put together. So I'm trying this technique for the first time. I'm just kind of making it up as I go along, and I'm trying to see whether or not I can get a piece of fabric with enough design in it that I could cut it out into the shape of a vase and make it look like a mosaic vase. So that's really what I am trying to do, if you're wondering. And it was inspired by the mosaic quilt that I made last year. And everyone kept telling me it looks like stained glass. So I was like, okay, well, when it came time to make a vase for flowers, I used to have this really pretty stained glass vase. And so I thought, oh, I could use maybe the leftover fabric from that quilt, and then I could make a stained glass vase like I used to have. So that's the idea behind what I'm trying to do. And then, oh, I need some dark blue cut up. Let me do that. And then I've been working on this all morning, doing different sort of techniques, trying to get it going. So we're getting closer. We're not quite there yet, but we're trying and definitely learning. And that is my favorite part. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so here's some blues. So funny, every time I put this down, it's like, wait, what was I working on? Where is it? All right, so now the idea is find something that fits there that's going to lay flat, right? Or close to flat. Doesn't have to be exactly flat. And actually, this is the line that we're trying to keep flat, right? So what about this? What if we wanted to even out that? How would we do that? Sorry. So now I'm thinking in order to sort of even out this line, maybe I need to sew that so that it lays there. That's a good thought, right? So we will sew it like this, and let's see if the way I'm thinking is right. My stiletto. All right, so I sewed it across like that, and the hope is that when I open it, it lays sort of flat across, and it does. So yay me. Always a little surprised when it works. But yay, that works. So now I have all this extra fabric, so I can just trim that off because I don't need it. Ooh, I like this. So now it's starting. So I think that's the answer. I think I figured it out. Yay. So I'm going to try to just kind of keep putting all these pieces together in straight lines. So I'm going to do this for, I don't know, let's just say 10 inches. And then I'm going to do another one 10 inches. And then I'm going to see if I offset them, if it looks random, because I don't want it to look striped. So I don't know if it's going to work, but maybe if I do more like this, where I have these little ones, then that'll help it look more random. I don't know. Definitely would, share your thoughts and help me if you know, or if you have ideas, because I'm just kind of winging it and I'm learning as I go. All right, so I love the idea of how this worked together. And so I'm thinking, like, maybe, do I have any more of those little tiny triangles sewn together already? I do. Haha. There you go. Look at that. So let's see if we can make that work in something. All right, so if I added this here, then that could potentially lay flat. So here's my thought. Let me show you. So if I add this here, that could potentially lay flat, right? It's like my genius, I'm telling you. All right, so let me sew that on and see if that works the way I'm expecting it to. I hope, I hope, I hope. All right, and now when I open it, hey, look, it did kind of work, right? Oh my God, I'm very excited. I feel like I'm figuring it out. And I need something to put here. Okay, let me press this. Oh, I'm very excited. I feel like I'm onto something, right? All right, so 6 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've used all 6 colors. So let's think about what. Oh, here's another short little one. So maybe that's a good one to put here. All right, let's try making this a flat cut. All right, so here is the idea here. I want to put this like that. So I'm going to sew it together and then I'll show you where I'm at. All right, this is where it gets tricky because it gets caught in those feed dogs. So I got to be careful. Here's what I think I should do. I think what I should do is I should start like in the middle, and then I can go backwards so that I don't get this all jammed up again, because then that was a freaking nightmare, I'll tell you. All right. Try it again, Sam. All right, let's go backwards. Well, I guess not. Let's go forwards. All right, we'll cut that. And then we'll turn around and we'll go the other direction. I'm doing this because it got jammed up a second ago. It gets on those corners and it doesn't know what to do. And so I'm trying to ensure that it doesn't get jammed up again. All right. God, I love that so much. So you see how it's starting to look more random now? I think I'm onto something. I think I'm onto something. That's exciting. So now I just need a little section to fill this area. Let's see. So now, all right, so here's what I'm thinking is I want this to be sort of flat, right? And I want this to be sort of flat. And so I need something to sort of fill this spot right here. And I'm thinking light purple. So let's see what I have cut that might work. I feel like this piece will work. I just got to cut it away from all the other pieces. I'm very excited. All right. So I think the idea is if I cut this here, it just needs to sort of fill that space and doesn't need to be perfect because if I trim some of it off, no one cares, you know? But it might be nice if it's close. So I think the best way to do it is like this. So I'm going to sew it. I'm going to sew it on like that, and then I'll show you how it came out. So stiletto. I love my little stiletto. It's like the greatest tool ever. All right, now we're going to cut it. And we're going to open it up. See? Oh, you have no idea how happy I am. I'm so excited. Isn't that awesome? So I've been at this for hours now, and it's been a lot of trial and error. But I'm really happy with how that's coming out. And so now the idea is, you know, you can trim the back of it. You don't have to keep all that crap back there. But I think this is more what I had in mind. So I'm happy about that. All right, so now I have to decide what color I want to use next, which I think it's going to be dark green. Although I do think we should make this smaller. All right, I think I'm going to use some dark green here. And so before I sew it on, I'm going to attach some other colors to the dark green. So maybe I'll use a little dark purple on one side. So this is going to go on like that. All right, so I'm gonna do this long side onto that piece, and so then I want to sew something on to these shorter sides. All right, so we're going to do this guy first. All right, so I have this piece coming off of there, and then I'm going to put, right, so I'm doing that. So I have this piece coming off of there, and then I need another piece coming off the bottom. So let's do a piece of this pretty turquoise that I love. And so we have to think about, when I fold it over, what's it going to look like? And so we want it to kind of look like that. So I might need to use the longer edge. So I think this will work. So I'm going to do it just like this. Dang it. Stiletto. Oh, yay, I'm so happy. All right, let me press it and I'll show you where it's going to fit. All right, so the idea was, see, just like that, I've lost my entire work. Oh, it fell on the ground. I'm like, oh my God. All right, so the idea here was to put it something like that. And so I'm gonna put it across like that. I'm gonna cut off these little wild pieces. Oh, I'm so excited. I feel like I am discovering a method that will work, which is exciting. So let's see. God, it's working. It's working. All right, so now on that seam, here's the seam, and so I'm just going to trim some of this fabric because we don't need all that mess back there. But look, isn't that exciting? I might be the only one excited, but I don't care. I'm still excited. Yay! All right, I think it's coming out well. I'm very, very happy with it. I'm going to keep going. And the idea is I'm going to try to do this 10 inches across, and then I'm going to try to make another one that's 10 inches across. And then I'm going to see if I can make them look random if I put them together and make sure they don't look striped, if that makes sense. So let's think about where we're at and what we should do next. So I feel like it's getting bigger. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it getting bigger, as long as I can kind of fill it in a way that makes sense. So let me figure out what I'm going to put here first. I think it should be this light green or fluorescent green. And I need some light purple because I don't have a lot of that. Light purple, dark blue. Let's do a dark blue first because I have light purple and light green over there. So let's get a piece of blue. We'll do dark blue over here. So we'll do that first. And then when that opens, it'll be kind of flat. So let's do that first. All right, so we decided to do the light green here, and then I did a blue on top there, and now I have to pick a color for down here, or I could just do another triangle. But I think I want to do a color for down here. Actually, maybe I'll do 2 triangles like this and then put those together. Oh, maybe I'll do 3 triangles. Right? 3 smaller triangles and put those together. I think that's what I do. All right, so let me do that. I'm excited. I feel like I'm getting the hang of it. Sorta. Sorta, kinda. All right, so I'm gonna do these 2, which is gonna fold up to be like that. All right, so I'm gonna do these 2 first. All right. Stiletto. All right, so now we'll do a light purple. So the idea will be if we do a light purple here, it'll go up in there. So I think that's good. I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. I think I'm going to do it like this so that it becomes smaller blue. Let's try it. All right, so now I have this piece that kind of looks like that. And so I'm thinking if I attach this to that piece and then I attach it to here, then I'm kind of we're sort of on the right track. Although I don't love that I did 2 of those same blues, so maybe we'll switch those up and save that for a different piece. All right, so let's think about that. Sorry, I'm looking for a smaller piece. All right. We have a smaller piece, so let's sew these together. Mm. All right, I'm going to cut this to be a little bit more straight. So I cut that to be a little bit more straight, and then if I cut this to be a little bit more straight and put that on, I think that works. And so we'll put these 2 together, and then we'll reassess. I do think, though, that I'm liking this process better. I think this is closer to what I envisioned when I started. Stiletto, loving my stiletto. Enjoying watching your thought process. I have a difficult time with picking colors. Watching you is relaxing, and I think I can do it. Oh, thank you, Nina. That's so nice. That's so nice. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to do this because I've never done this before. So, you know, I'm learning as we go, but I'm having fun, so I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thank you for taking the time to say that. So sweet. All right, so now I have this piece here, and I'm trying to figure out, like it just keeps getting bigger, and I don't think I want that, but I could just connect it like this. So if I connect it like this, then that means I need one more piece here that's going to flatten it out. So if I connect it like that, then I kind of need another piece here to flatten it out is what I'm thinking. And so maybe I'll do this pretty turquoise since we haven't used that one very much. So maybe like that. I think that works. So when it gets folded over, it's going to be folded. We want it folded like that. So we want it more at an angle. So let me try it and see if that works. All right. Right? Aren't these pretty colors? I made a quilt. I don't know if you were here when I talked about that, but I made a quilt using this fabric, and everybody said it looked like stained glass. I got a ton of comments saying it looked like stained glass. And so when I thought about making a vase, which is what I'm trying to do, I thought, oh, I used to have this really beautiful mosaic purple like kind of like glass vase, stained glass. And so I thought, oh, I can use the fabric from my quilt and that would be perfect. So anyway, so that's how we ended up here. But I agree, I love these colors. All right, I feel like I need another dark green and I need to kind of even this out. So I'm going to add this dark green up there. I need to press it a little. Don't press the wrinkles into the fabric. All right. Ow, hot. All right, where did we decide? We wanted this here. And so I'm going to sew it like this. So let's try it and see how it works out. Oh, thank you, Nina. Mommy, I'm happy to have you. So nice. All right, so now we have this piece like that, which is great. And I feel like we're making progress. It's weird that I'm getting bigger. So I don't know if my original idea is going to work, but we'll see. All right, so the idea is to put this on like that. So I think we're close enough that I can go ahead and put this on. We're close enough. What I'm saying is we're close enough to a straight edge over here, because if I overlap that, I can make that straight. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these two, and then I'm going to measure to see if we have 10 inches, because I don't know how big my vase is going to be, but I can't imagine that it's going to be any wider than that. So let's try this and see where we're at. I use this handy stiletto, and it helps me when we're going through these weird heavy seams, because I'm sewing so many pieces together. It helps me to control the fabric as it's going through. So if you don't have one, highly recommend. There, look at that. See? Oh, I'm so happy. I'm really, really, really happy with how it came out. And it's probably good that it's not like that it's getting bigger, because the idea is that you want it to be random. I don't want it to look like stripes. Although these pieces are a little bigger than I originally planned, so I don't know. What do you think? Should I make smaller triangles? I really don't want to start over. I think it just is what it is. So whenever I do a seam like that, like I just did this seam and I did this seam earlier, it's okay to cut off this extra. In fact, it's encouraged. I should. Who's encouraging? Me. I should have done this one, so I didn't sew into it, but I didn't. Anyway, so I think it's looking pretty good. I'm excited. So the idea is I want to make it big enough so that I have enough space to cut out the shape of a vase. And then it's my hope is that it's going to look like a stained glass vase. And then I'm going to do flowers coming out of the vase. And I'm probably going to piece the background too, maybe in a more neutral color. I'm not sure if I'm going to do whites or grays, blacks, maybe charcoal grays. So definitely give me your opinion. Yes, it's going to be a wall hanging. So the idea came from my Quilters Guild is having a quilt show this summer. And so the original idea was everyone do a wall hanging size of your birth flower. So my birth month is June, and so my flower is rose. So I showed this earlier, but I'll show you again. I did all this practice because I had never done log cabin before. So I did all these practice sort of log cabin roses, and I wasn't caring about the fabric. I was just practicing and learning the technique. And I didn't like how thick this turned out and how big it was. So then I did these and I go, oh, I think I like these thinner ones better. And then I started playing around with weird fabrics. I actually really love this. But all of these are too huge, but this was just my practice. And so my idea was, okay, I'll do log cabin roses and I'll do a mosaic vase because of the quilt, which I showed earlier, but I'll show you again. This is a quilt I made last year that everybody said looked like stained glass. So this is where the inspiration came. So that is the inspiration for the vase. And so I thought, okay, I have tons of leftover fabric, so I can make the vase out of that leftover fabric. And then you know, I was practicing on the roses. This is definitely not the size rose I'm going to use, but it is going to be wall hanging and it is going to be smaller, and I'm going to have to, where's my thing? I always lose my piece. And anyway, so I'm gonna do that. And so if I can sort of learn this technique, maybe I won't do the log cabin roses. Maybe I'll do this kind of crumb quilting type rose. Thank you. Anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just experimenting and I'm playing around, and I'm definitely not gonna enter it into the quilt show because I've sort of run out of time. You have to have a picture of it ready to go by the end of this month. So maybe, but I don't know. I don't want to rush it. I want to just spend time practicing. So anyway, that's what I'm working on. But thank you so much. Thanks for asking, and thank you for the compliment on my quilt. All right, so now the question is, do I make another stripe and then connect it and see if it works, or do I try to just keep building on this one? Like maybe I try to build this side up to match this side, or you know what I mean? I don't know. You like the log cabin roses? Thank you. Yeah, so maybe. I haven't decided. And I think that that's kind of what I want. Like I just started quilting a little over a year ago, and I've been following patterns and I've learned a ton over the past year, and I love it. Obviously, I'm hooked, hooked, hooked. But like I aspire to just sit down and make something out of scraps. Like I would love to do that, like I don't want to follow patterns. And so this is kind of the beginning of that journey. This is the first time I've sat down and tried to do something sort of without a pattern. So I'm excited about it, and we'll see how it turns out. But I think it's going to be fun. All right, so I think I will do that. They need to be different than the vase, for sure. 100%. I agree, Nina. 100%. I don't know what colors I'll do yet. That's going to have to be a whole thought process. I'm going to have to look at my scraps and see. But yeah, I agree. It should be a different fabric. The vase should stand, but it needs to also coordinate with the vase somehow. So we'll see. All right, so now I'm trying to figure out, I should start at this end maybe. Or maybe I should just start making a strip. I don't know. A lot of decisions. Let's just try something. See where it leads. That was a weird thing I just did. God dang it. All right. All right, so I kind of like that. This is getting into the big side again, though, and I don't want this to be too big. I think it looks better when I get into these small pieces. So with that in mind, I think I'm just going to sew something on and just like, I don't know, just like cut it along there, or maybe even like there. I just want it to be, I just want it to not be huge. I don't have a regular time I go live yet. Thank you for asking, but I do want to come up with that. So I'm trying to figure out a few things so I can come up with a regular time. Um, and I appreciate you being hanging out with me today. But yeah, so I don't know yet, but I will come up with a time and I'll get it posted soon. Meanwhile, I think this week I'm going to try to come back on Friday. But to your point, I do want to have a regular time that I do it, so it makes it easier um, to find me. So I will let you know. Be sure to follow me so that you get notified. And thank you. Thanks for asking. All right, so here I feel like that should go somewhere like that, right? Just to make it smaller. I think I like that, as it's too, otherwise it's just too big. So I'm going to sew this on like that to make that happen, so that when I fold it over, it shows up the way I said. So I'm going to do this piece next. And now I'm going to check and see if I like it. And if I do, which I do, see, yeah, that makes me happy. So now I can go and I can cut this. Here's my sew line. And so I have all of this that is extra. So I'm going to go trim that and press it. And then I'm going to pick my next colors. Hey, right? That's nice. I like that. So now I feel like I need two smaller, because I don't want to just put another giant piece on here. So I feel like I need a piece that maybe has 3 triangles to make it more interesting, smaller triangles. So I'm going to see what I can do about that. I need to press this. All right, so we're going to do blue. We're going to be blue, light purple, light purple. All right, blue and light purple. I hate doing this right in the middle because it freaks me out, because if you were with me, if you've been with me long today, I got a total rat's nest. And we just don't want that to happen again. Had to take my whole bobbin area apart. It was a nightmare. All right, so we did that on one side, which is good. And then I think the idea is to go like this. So I need like, is that true? So I need another triangle. So maybe I'll do 2 more triangles, or I could do it like this. Let's see. And I feel that I need dark green, dark green, dark green. So this is definitely too long, so I have to trim this. So I'm sort of learning as I go, and what I'm learning is I need to leave myself like these sort of straight edges to be able to add pieces to, you know? And so like if this goes here, then I still need a piece that goes down there, and I want it to kind of fill in that triangle space there. So I'm trying to keep these lines, this line straight or straight-ish. And so if I can find one more triangle to fill that hole there, I think that would be perfect. So let's think about how we're doing it. So I'm doing it like this. All right, so I'm doing it like this. Am I? God, I get confused so easy. All right, so let's do dark green. So if I sew that on, I need a piece that goes there. So I need a piece, I need something that goes along here, I think. I don't know, I've lost track, so we're just going to try this and see how it works. All right, so we're going to sew that on. Let me press this and trim it. All right, so we have pressed this, and the idea was to sew that onto here, which is great. So I think we're good enough to do that. And then I'll show you where we're at. But I think I'm finally starting to sort of get the hang of this, so I'm excited. Excited. I love my stiletto. God, see, look how good that's starting to look. So I'm going to trim this because we don't want it hanging down like that. But I feel like it's coming together. I'm happy with it. All right, let me trim it and then I'll show you where we're at. Ha! See? Doesn't that look good? I feel like it looks good. And then the idea is if I take this piece that I have like that, and then I were to attach this piece like that, it does look random, right? I don't like the square here. That's not going to work for me. So maybe I need to add another triangle. I'm talking about this right here. I don't like that squared off piece. And so I'm thinking maybe I need to add another triangle here going that direction to kind of square that off with the way this is squared off. But again, I don't want one giant triangle there. I want multiple little triangles because I'm trying to make it look more something. So let's see how, like I'm wondering, this is some of my examples that I did earlier in the day that were not coming out exactly like I hoped. But I wonder if I can cut any of this and sew it on. I don't know, what do you think? Because I didn't like it because it was getting too big, but I wonder, like, could I reuse it? Could I sew that on there? Maybe. Why not, right? I don't know. All right, what was I doing? I'm going to try to fill in this spot. So let's see. Let's see. We'll do a dark purple. No, we already have dark. Let's do a turquoise. So if we do it with one giant, then we can always trim it down, I think. So because I want to get rid of that stupid square, instead of sewing it like along this line, I'm going to sew it across that to get rid of that square. And so I think I'm just going to sew and then figure out what I need after that. So that's my plan. Let's see how it turns out. My stiletto. Let's see. So now when I open that up, it looks not bad, right? So I'm going to go back from behind and I'm going to trim that excess fabric off because I don't need it. I'm going to open this up and press it and see what we need next. All right. So I feel that it is too big. I don't like it, so I need to cut some of that off. And so I'm not going to just cut the fabric that's on there. I'm going to cover it first and then cut it. And so in order to do that, I need to be sure, I need to decide what I want to cover it with. And so I said I didn't want one big piece, but because I had 3 pieces there, I didn't say it out loud, but in my mind, I I vetoed myself because I'm like, no, that's silly to have. So I'm going to, I put a bigger piece here, and now I want to break that up by doing another smaller triangle piece, if that makes sense. But I'm just winging it. So if you guys have thoughts, share it. All right, I feel like I need more light purple, right? Like I don't have enough light purple. So yes, try it. I can always change it. Yes, thank you. All right. So I'm going to go here, which is fine. I can sew it like here, and that'll be fine. And then maybe I can cut it. It's so hard. maybe. All right, I think I'm just going to put these two pieces together, and then I'm going to add another piece, and then I'm going to see where we're at. All right, so I have these two pieces together. Maybe I should just do two because I did three before, so maybe I do something like that. What do you think? I think I like that, except for now we have light purple by light purple, but maybe that's being too picky. All right, I'm just gonna do it. So now, if I sew it like that, yeah, I think it works too. All right, thank you. Thank you for the input. All right, let me try this. Scary. Don't get all caught up in there. Go, go, go. Oh, good, okay. I made it. Almost got tangled, but it didn't. All right, so I think I like that, right? So now I'm just going to come back here behind that seam I just sewed. I'm going to trim that off. I'm going to press it open, and then I'm going to decide, like I'm probably going to put something across here next. But anyway, let me I'm going to trim here, press it, and then I'll be right back. All right, so that's where we're at. So now I feel like I need to put a giant sort of triangle that will go and fill up this space. Let me see if I can show you one. Oh, look, I already have that. Oh, no. Didn't I have one sewn together? Yeah, I do. I have this sewn together. And so I'm wondering, like, well, it's got that light green again. God, I use that a lot, don't I? I should really calm down. So the idea is to come up with something that will fill this space. Like, let's find a giant one for an example. So it's got to sort of fill that space so that it's covering, let's see, from this blue triangle up there and flattening out that area. But I don't want it to all be one color. But that's the space that I'm trying to fill, if that makes sense. I'm trying to fill this hole right here. So in order to do that, I need to kind of make this giant triangle that's going to be about this size, I think. So I have to make that with a bunch of little triangles. So let's do like a little dark blue. I don't know why. I feel like I pressed this already. And I have to keep pressing it again. All right, so we'll do dark blue. And we'll do dark purple. We'll do a little dark purple. So we're trying to make it into something that's around this size. So we can do dark purple. So maybe we do like this and like that and like that. And then we'll do, oh, it's hard to do that. Weird. Okay. So let's just not think about it and let's just do it. So we need this, and then I feel like I need a turquoise. I'm going to cut some turquoise triangles. Turquoise. Where is my turquoise? Ah, here's some. Does anybody else work as messy as I do? I always have just a disaster when I'm done. It's like trying to make some smaller triangles because I feel like all these ones I'm making are too big, but I need to have a sort of combination of all of those, I guess. All right, so now I have some turquoise ones to choose from. And so ultimately I want to end kind of with something around this shape. This shape seems to work. And so I'm trying to figure out how to kind of make that happen. Doesn't have to be perfect, but how to roughly make that happen. So let's see if we can do it with this. I might need one more triangle after this. There's my stiletto. Okay. Thank you. Creative. Yes, that's it. I'm creative. It is a nicer way to say it. All right, so now I'm trying to figure out, so I have this piece, and if you remember, I'm trying to keep these kind of straightish, and so it's this hole right here that I'm trying to fill in. And so now I've sewn these 3 triangles together, and so I'm thinking, if I sew it kind of like that, I don't want to completely cover up the green. Maybe I should trim this green straight. Let me see if I can do that. So I leave some of that green in. All right, so now I have some of that green left in. So let's see. Where is that piece? I always lose the piece. Oh, it's on the ground. I always lose the piece and it's always on the ground. All right. All right, so I think I like this, but I feel that that other piece that I keep picking up and not using, this guy, maybe he belongs on here too somehow. Or maybe he belongs here. Let's put it here and see what happens. No, I don't want to just do that. I'm going to regret that. I know. You're going to regret it. I'm going to cut this straight and let's see if I can make it work. And then I'll show you guys what I'm doing so you know what I'm talking about. All right, that ended up being not very straight. So I just cut it straight. And now the idea is if I sew it along, see, if I sew it along here, I still have that stupid hole. So maybe I just need to do a triangle here first and fill that hole. Starting to make me mad. All right, I just need a little triangle. Let's try this. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. All right, let's try this. Blah, blah, blah. All right, I just have to fill this stupid hole right here. So maybe if I do it like this, that'll be enough. Or if I do it like this. All right, I'm just going to do it like this. Maybe. All right, it's kind of messed up right there, but I figure when I attach it, it'll be in the seam allowance, so maybe that'll be okay. Let's go back to this crazy thing I was making over here, and let's talk about how that would fit, because I could do it like this. Did I sew this on? Oh, no, okay, I'm just losing my mind. All right, so I have this piece here, and I have this piece here, and so I'm trying to figure out, do I want to attach it so it looks like that? Or do I want to attach it so it looks like that? Or this? Well, this is flat, so I mean, it makes this edge kind of flat, and then I could trim that off. But if I'm going to do that, I need to fill up this. So let's try not to forget. Every time I show you, then I forget what I'm doing. All right, let's try this. All right, so now I cut that piece so you can see it kind of fills that spot in. So now I think I was thinking about doing it like this, and that kind of flattens that out. Maybe I need another piece over here. So see, I always lose track. I could do it this way. I think I like it better like that. All right, I'm going to trim this. All right, so now we have it looking like that. So that's pretty good. And then if we attach it like that, then this piece will get trimmed off. But I think that's good. So I'm going to attach it like that. Try it. We'll try it and we'll see what we think. All right, I would say that's pretty good. It kind of hit most of that green, but I think it's okay. Let me press it and trim it, and then we'll check again. All right, there we go. So I think that's not bad, right? And I'm wondering, like, does that work? Does that work? Will it work, darling? I think it'll work. Right, so if I sew those together, I think it'll work. Interesting. All right, I'm just going to keep going. I want to try to make this about the same length so that I can sew it on. If I can manage, to somehow fill in the space to square it off, you know what I mean? Like that would be good. Because the fear is if we have stripes like this, it'll look too stripy, and I don't want it to. I want it to look really, really random. Right? So like what would happen if I sewed it? Like I wonder, what if I sewed it there? Do I want to try sewing it now and then fill in this spot here? It's very tricky. I think I'm just going to keep going to be safe. I'm going to put this on an angle. All right. All right, so I sewed along that edge and I'm going to trim off all of that and then I'll press it and I'll show you what I did. All right, so that's where we're at. All right, it is 1 o'clock. I think I'm going to end it there for today, but thank you so much for joining me. And I will try to go live again on Friday morning and work on this some more, like around 10ish. So try to join me if you can. Thanks.